Hey,
what's
man,
up?
we're
Wait,
live. How you doing? What a night, man. We crushed
dude,
it.
what a fun weekend, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
As usual, I would have traded all of the money to not have been freaking my wife and me both sick all weekend.
Yeah.
Want to know the truth, but yeah, but that was definitely a lot of fun. It's funny, just to recap for everybody. Well, they're not here yet, but you've been just freaking just right on the freaking NBA, like freaking nobody's fucking business, like every freaking night. And then if I'm not mistaken, was it yesterday that you I thought you had won the
Yeah,
Grand
it looked like
Slam.
I had won the Grand Slam, but then it ended up second place because the win, both pitchers looked like they were going to get the win, my pitcher and their pitcher, and then they ended up getting the extra 4 points, and I didn't. So
Now, what did you win? You won something Friday, right? The NBA.
yeah, the NBA won on Friday, or was that Thursday night? I think it was
That was the
Thursday.
555, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I hate to put it this way, like whoever was tweeting, like you can't keep up with all of them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're really doing it.
Yeah.
And then I held on for dear life in the soccer yesterday morning, and then it was really funny. So we won the GPP this morning, and I posted on Twitter like I usually do when I hit something like that. I said, well, the key to today is to have a big cushion to suffer, because of all the loss I'm going to be suffering later, right?
Right.
So I put that up there after the soccer, and then the baseball was doing nothing for me. Basketball was literally, nothing was doing anything for me. And then I saw that you got into the Grand Slam, and I thought you were going to win 25,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And, okay. And then I had done a lot of work on the MMA, and I want to say I was almost going to not play, because what happened was they had a 12 fight slate is really, really small in general. And then they scratched one of like the top fights for me. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to do it anyway. And then it just basically everything just went right though. And the funny thing about the MMA slate, not the funny thing, but is that it's literally the first full MMA slate I've watched, I think. Like,
Oh, really?
well, because I'm always out Saturday nights, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I watch a couple, then whatever. Because I was sick, I watched it all, and just and I was sweating it on the State Kings Discord and on the MMA Discord, literally every fight. I'm like, okay, this is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need. And then after everything came perfect, there were like 4 fights to go, and I'm like, okay, I need this, and then this, or this. And then what happened was there was one fight that I needed to like not have a KO or something. At the end of the first round, some dude like KO'd some guy, but he headbutted him. And the first thing that they announced was winner by KO, such and such. I'm like, oh man. And then they said, hold on. They did like an investigation, and it turns out it was an illegal headbutt, so they called it a no contest.
Oh
So
my God.
the whole fight busted. And I'm like, okay, so for the second to last fight, I'm like, so if this guy smashes, I'm in business. So the second guy smashed, second to last fight, and I was basically locked up in the last fight, no matter what happened. Like,
Right.
if one guy won, I'd win. Like, I'd split it with like 4 dupes. Another guy won, I would split it with 1. And if the fight totally busted, I'd win it all myself. So.
Oh.
And it turns out the second guy won, and I totally forgot that there was another lineup I had that got moved up to second because of that. And it all freaking worked out great, man. So we're all moving. We're moving on to the future, and we're now today we have 4 things, 3 of which, 2 of which, actually 3 things start at 1 of which 2 of which you care about, and then there's hockey, and then there's also for me NASCAR later. So I figure we would take some time and look at the MLB as long as I have you at the MMA and NBA.
Yeah, since the MLB doesn't actually start until 1:30,
Okay.
I thought maybe we could go through the NBA game by game if you want to.
Okay, let me.
Because I think it's a tricky NBA slate, but I think that these are worthwhile. I mean, you're getting the 4 days.
Wait. So the other thing, so this is actually, I do want to go over this because this is really funny. This is when you, I want to show you something, because this is when your actual humanness kind of takes over. Like you would have appreciated this. Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to share my screen for a minute, and I want to share the NBA. So I played both slates. I played the main And I didn't even realize that the second slate had the same 2 games. so I entered and I played it anyway. And let me show you what I had. I don't know if you even saw this, but hold on. Okay. Let me share my screen. And where is that? Share screen. And this was in the slam last night. Okay. I went to sleep. I didn't even realize this happened. So this lineup here ended up getting second for 5K. Okay. So what was interesting?
I didn't even notice that. No,
yeah, I posted this in there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So what was interesting about this was not like this before. Okay. When I put my lineups in. This lineup had LeBron and Rui and D'Angelo Russell, and also it had Anthony Davis in the utility. And I honestly put my lineups. I didn't even like double check and see what I had. And then I'm looking and I'm like, okay, there's like 1 game left. I'm like, do I really need 4 of them? I'm like, well, who can I put in the utility aside from these guys? I'm like, wait, I could play Ja as like a run back against these 3. I mean, screw Saberson. Why would I want all 4 guys in the Lakers? I definitely want someone from Morant for Memphis. So I put him in. And then the score was like 52-0. Like after like
it was literally like that.
And I'm like, well, it's not going to matter. I'm so tired. I'm going to bed anyway. These probably guys aren't going to even play. And then I wake up to see this shit that they cut it to 10, I guess. And Josh scored 78 fantasy points. And listen, I know this is hard to say after the fact. And I hate when people do this, but there's just got to be something wrong with Ja being 6% owned on a 2-game slate.
100%. I can't even believe it. And great job, man, because that's a great call. I don't even understand how that's possible that he ended up 2% on.
And not that I knew he'd be 2%, but like the funny, it's like so weird, you know? It's like, and I know that you could have said like, well, maybe he wasn't a good play because there's okay, fine, maybe 20 or something like that. But
right.
6?
Like, no, that's crazy. I mean, just even flat out people playing LeBron over him is actually even borderline. You know what I mean? The ceiling is much higher for Ja, like in general.
Yeah,
and I'm shocked by that. That's really
I had no choice because I played LeBron in the forward. So this was my only choice was to get rid of Davis for Morant, and you know what I mean? To seem like I know Saberson says they take into account correlations and stuff, but I know I don't want 4 top Lakers with no Memphis guys. I just know that I don't want that.
Right. Against the team
I'll throw Morant in. I didn't even know how these other guys were doing. You know, it's like Oladipo 18 points. How good could that have been? You know what I mean? Like Strus 15. I mean, I didn't even think about this. And then I woke up like, there you go. This is one of those days where everything's kind of falling your way.
That's awesome, man. What a day. Yeah, you really crushed it. That's a huge DFS day.
Right. So let's pull up the NBA.
Yeah.
And again, you're calling an audible on me because I did have the MLB.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, I have it up, but I didn't have it in my main screen.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to do game by game? All right. So
yeah. I mean, first of all, so the first team of this entire NBA season, this is not an exaggeration. Last game between these 2 teams was the first time a team this entire season, every game played, nobody scored less than 80 points until the last game. Cleveland scored 79.
You mean more than 80?
Was that?
Nobody scored more than 80. You mean?
Nobody scored less than 80 the whole season.
Oh, less than 80. Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So my prediction is that things are going to go in a different direction today a little bit. I'm also very curious to see their starting lineup because I don't know why they would mess around and put LeVert back in the starting lineup. It really, like, I know he had a good shooting night the other night, but I have no idea what they were doing, thinking about changing it up and making him the starter because he basically becomes like unimportant and unusable when Mitchell and Garland are both on the court. When Mitchell and Garland are both on the court. The long and short for me, this game is very straightforward for me. What I'm going to do, I have absolutely no problem playing Donovan Mitchell over all the other 9K guys. I think that he's going to have an incredible game. I think one of he or Garland have to be in my lineups. I'm going to say that over and over again. I don't care whether it works every slate. It's going to work most of the time. And I am going to play those 2 guys, and I'll probably be a little bit lower on LeVert than the field will be.
I'm a little curious, by the way. I just want to before my brain dispenses of this. What did you mean by the under 80?
They scored under 80 points. They scored 79 points. That was the only team all season long to score under 80 points.
Not a single team?
Not a single team for the first time in NBA history scored under 80 points this season in a game.
That in and of itself is an amazing thing.
It's unbelievable. And there's been 2 in the playoffs. The Minnesota scored 80 in one game. So it's really wild like that's happening. I think you're going to see a much better performance out of Cleveland today. I think it should be a good competitive game. This is like a really, really big game, obviously.
Spread this game. Knicks by a couple of points?
Knicks by, I think it might be 1.
Okay.
2.5 actually. For what it's worth, I will take the Cavs in this one. I'm sorry to go against your Knicks, but I do like the Cavs today. I also very much like Jalen Brunson and as a nice fit. So that's sort of my core from this game is I will have some Levert, probably less than the field. I will have some I will have Mitchell or Garland in my lineups, and I like the run back with Brunson. And it's getting to the point with Randall's price where you definitely can play him. I didn't find him in my earlier builds, but I think that 7,700 you can certainly take a shot with Randall.
Well, let me tell you something though, and this is something that I felt kind of fishy about. Is that what we talked about? We didn't talk, I guess, as much as we should have about the difference between playoff basketball and regular season basketball. Not so much that defense this, and whatever it is, but just the fact that they make these changes that can apply to like a whole series. And once they lock into a certain thing, it just like Brooklyn decided they were just going to take Embiid out of the series. You know what I mean? Like and
Right.
It didn't work, whatever it is, but maybe that felt that there was their best chance. And then you have to really just dispense with like all the projections from like the regular season when that happens, And then likewise, the other day I went and I played Julius Randle against Cleveland, right? And you even said to me, listen, dude, you do what you want, but this is legit like the worst matchup there is, like for Randle, And once these teams are playing like multiple games, this thing happens, that everything in the regular season is just irrelevant, So
Right.
I'm actually gonna just avoid Randall, and stuff like that,
Totally fine.
And I actually like when I'm first looking at my sheets here, I have this game kind of very similar. Maybe that's being recency biased. Is very similar to the way it was in the last game. Like it's like I'm not getting to as much of this as like these other games, like just like the Minnesotas and the Sacramentos and the Denvers and the Golden States and stuff like that. I'm just getting more players from those environments for some reason. So if you get away with it, you can play Mitchell. He'll be low owned, right?
Yeah.
And then you play a Mitchell Brunson thing, and me, I'm with you. The idea that like one team's going to score the all-time season low, that's all the more reason why they're going to whatever. And this is. While it's not must win, it's a game that, let's just put it this way, they really like to win. They don't want to go down 3-1.
Yeah, that's rough business if they're down.
Even though they're coming home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as I said for the last game, I said, listen, this is the time where Mitchell's going to be, I would imagine he tries to put the team on his shoulders somewhat. So I kind of like it. This is that might end up being like my F the projections play. Just go with that.
He's had a down game and only scored 40 in the last game. He had 46 in the previous game. He had 66 in the first game.
Oh, and here's another one. Now again, like just I'll wait because we'll talk about it when we get there. Okay.
But then you got the Sacramento Golden State thing, and this is the argument against playing Mitchell and I don't know what the hell's like. Why every day Sabonis projects better than Fox, and we're not learning from this? You know what I mean? He's 43 as he's topped out. Fox has scored 55 in every game. Like, what are we doing at this point? And he's going to be low owned. So I actually like my two biggest spend ups of the day are going to be Fox and Mitchell. And I am going to look. I think that Sabonis could easily have one game in the series, and maybe even 2. I just personally am siding with Fox. I'm siding with what everything we've seen so far has been the De'Aaron Fox show. I'm not going to deviate from it now. All the other fringe pieces are fine. My favorite is actually Harrison Barnes because I feel secure about the minutes. But I really just like Fox and Barnes as the guys I'm playing. And I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think this is the Clay game. I think this is we're going to get it at one point in the series where he makes like 8, 9, 10 threes. And I feel like this is going to be the day. This just feels like, I don't know why, but it feels like it's going to be the day for me. So Clay, Draymond, and Wiggins, and Looney, I will be way over on. There's this perception that Looney can't have a big game with Draymond there. And I'm just going to call BS on that. I think it's completely doable. He's not going to probably put up 50 like he did in the last game. But the fact that no one's going to play a guy who's 5,800 and just put up 50 fantasy points in the same matchup is just because Draymond's back. And it's not like he's losing his starting job. He's still starting. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that Draymond takes away from him a little bit. But I am completely on board with playing Looney again. I'm going to be very overweight these first games, but primarily it's going to be just Mitchell and Barnes on the Sacramento side, and then I like everyone on Golden State. I'm not getting to Steph as much because of the price thing and the other guys I'm playing, but I do like the Clay, Draymond, Looney, and it looks like Gary Payton's going to play. I don't mind if you want to use him for value.
I mean, if you play like Mitchell and Brunson from the first game, and then you play Fox and either Clay or Draymond from the second game, I mean, and like I said, and you get away with it, like you're in business. You know what I mean? Like that, all four, like the Fox Mitchell Brunson combination is just going to be low as owned. You know what I mean? Like, and if you get away with it, and you take a good Golden State run back, you know what I mean? Like either Fox or Green, as far as I'm concerned, honestly.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you don't get to play. You know, you have to work on the value a little bit. But listen, I know you don't want to play freaking Jokic anyway. You know what I mean? So this could do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I do see why some of these guys are being low owned because there's so many plays. It's an interesting because you have like 25 like incredible plays that we would be dying to play on a regular slate because of where everyone's priced at. So it kind of makes things, but we just don't have the value. So we're going to have to get a little thin on the value.
Well, where you can get the value, you can play a Kongwu as we talk about this next game.
Yeah, we'll get into this in the next one because I think that it's interesting. Like I actually am going to stick by you have to like, this is my other stance. And not you have to, but I'm going to try to force in at least one Boston guard. It's probably worth noting that Marcus Smart hasn't projected well at all. He's been less than 10. He's been 10% owned or less in every game. I played him the other day. He put up 40, 43 or whatever. He's put up 35, 40, and 43 in these games. I have no idea why his projection won't reflect any of this. And if he doesn't get there, Derek White does. And if Derek White doesn't get there, Brogdon does. Brogdon's the easiest one to fit in, so I have him the most. But I love the idea of using at least one of those guards. And I'm having trouble getting to Tatum because of the way I'm building today. Although it seems like the kind of game after losing game 4 where he would come out with a big performance, either he or Jaylen Brown. But I just am not quite getting to them with my build. So I'm going to prioritize the guards, one of White, Smart, or Brogdon. I'm not going to play multiples of them. And then on the other side, I think Okongwu is certainly an option. I think Sadiq Bey, who got the closing run because he was on fire, is certainly an option. He played really physical, played really well. I can definitely see them going back to him.
I agree with that.
He's going to play a million minutes no matter what because they want him on Tatum. So he'll play until he's in foul trouble or he's out, or until the game's over, basically. And then because it's been so bad for Collins, I don't mind the idea of taking a chance on him. The same thing with Bogdanovich. So I'm just going to be cycling these guys through.
I agree with that.
The main ones are going to be the Bay and Hunter for me.
Yeah, Bay, Hunter, Bogdanovich, Collins, I think are kind of keys. I mean, like they're cheap enough, and if the ball bounces their way, they could get. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like that. I'm just kind of like screwing around right here. So I put like a Okongwu, Hunter, and Bay all in here just to show you. You know what I mean? Like what could happen?
Yeah.
And those are when you look at the rest of the value on the slate, there's not a lot under 5K, except for we'll get to him in a second. There's KCP. And I guess those are going to be the main value guys, along with LeVert, right? That people use. Mm-hmm. So unless you consider Conley value 5,700, which you could.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So that's good. On Boston, I'm not going to get to Tatum only because I'm just not going to be able to. I don't think.
Right. I have the same issue. Like I was all over Trey the other day. I don't think I'm going to be going back there today. But if you want to play Trey or DeJounte Murray, I'm certainly not going to talk anybody out of it. It's just I'm just prioritizing other plays is my only explanation. And I think Boston's a good enough team to where they just don't let that happen again.
Yeah.
Go ahead with
So what I was
Denver.
going to say, I was going to transition over to Denver, Minnesota. So here's the thing, like it's playoffs are just like different, I guess, because Jokic projects like an incredible play like every day,
Mm-hmm.
and while 50 is fine and 57 is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that playoffs are freaking are Jamal Murray time. You know what I mean? That's just what it is, and what do we have? 50, 56, 44, you know what I mean? Every one of them wins. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a major, I think it's a major point, and I would prioritize Murray before Jokic, even though like on the projection side, I mean, Jokic's projection, according to my value scores, whatever, just like way better than everybody else. It's just based on so many games that have nothing to do with the current environment, So yeah, I mean I've kind of been taught a lesson as far as that goes, and I'm probably in my big buy and going to be off of him.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing, like I mean, look, you can always make the argument for Jokic. It's just that's not the strength of this matchup. Is not his position. It is more Murray's, and they're such a good all around team, and they're up 3-0. I don't see this having to be the day where Jokic has to go completely nuts. You know what I mean? Maybe if the situation was reversed and they were somehow down 2-1 or something, I would be all over Jokic because they're going to focus every single thing on him if that was the case. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I'm actually not getting to as much Murray today or Jokic, and I am getting to more of the value in this game. KCP, Jeff Green, and it's weird to think, but like, look, we need value somewhere. So all these top spend ups are going to more than 5x, or a lot of them are going to. So getting some value helps. KCP and Jeff Green make that doable. I actually think Bruce Brown is the one I prefer over both those guys, but I'm totally good with the KCP or Bruce Brown on that side. On the Minnesota side, you probably won't see another starter if they start Nickeil Alexander-Walker again. I don't think you're going to see another starter under 4K at less than probably 5% ownership. I am totally okay with using Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He actually did a really good job when they started the game last time on Murray, and then they took it when they rotations changed. Murray just went nuts, and they almost like they forgot to put Walker back in. It's bizarre. He's done the best job on Murray, so I think they're going to play him more minutes today. So I'm going to try and get some Alexander Walker for value. I agree with the Conley is a reasonable value. I actually like Gobert a little bit today, and I think you can always pick one of Towns or Edwards. I just didn't get to them as much in my builds, which is kind of surprising because I would like to target that game, but I sort of want to stick by my Fox and Mitchell take. So that's why I didn't get to more of this game outside of value. Anything for you on that one?
I agree. I've been doing I think a really good job with all the sports, or the big sports, in separating my my MME stuff and my bigger buy-in stuff. Mm-hmm. And I am letting Saberson kind of help me with the MME stuff, just because it's I don't know, as far as it's my experience, I just can't generate enough variance myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for the big ones, I find that my big ones are just significantly different than the MME ones, which is good. So I'm kind of into that.
Yep. I hear you. Let me just do one more thing. Okay. Yeah, we can move over to baseball if you want to. I want
to show you a funny video. Okay. I'm sharing my screen right now.
Yeah.
So this is an AAU tournament that's going on in Pittsburgh right now. And I'm not going this. Obviously, I didn't go this weekend, but I'm going next weekend. This is my team. And so the head coach of the team, his name is Chris. He got me into MMA, and he's been asking me to do MMA for a long time. He's a big fan. He took me to my first MMA thing. He's like the head coach. So he's right here on the left. Mm-hmm. So I texted him, that I smashed in the DFS or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he told me to do this. So this is video. This is really, really funny. So hold on a second. So you see him. See his looking at his Apple Watch there. Yeah. That's me texting him that I just smashed in the tournament, right? Uh-huh. So then he tells his assistant, okay, it's only 20 more seconds. Sheets just smashed in this tournament, whatever it is. So he knows that I'm like watching the live stream. So he looks up and let's look at this. He looks up here. Wait 1 second. He looks up and then he flexes.
I love it. I love it. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's funny. Okay, you want to move on to the MLB?
Yeah, let's move to MLB. It's definitely like it's a good slate. It's a fun. I love playing the day slates, and it's I'm glad I woke up early yesterday, obviously, because I not even woke up early, just had enough time in the morning. But I don't think we need to. I mean, we could go game by game if you want to. I guess
Yeah,
that's
sure.
that's what why not?
What's the weather? By the way, we're out of the Survivor.
What happened? Oh, so to Cleveland, what happened? I didn't even see yesterday.
Yeah, Cleveland lost, and there's no doubleheader today.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
so we're out of that one.
Yeah, we're through with Texas, but yeah, that was that was cursed in the beginning. First, we didn't get our picking in time, and then the whole week rained out pretty much.
Yeah.
And Bieber got hurt. It's like the whole thing.
No, the whole thing was a nightmare. I mean, I don't even. Every game of theirs had a rain issue.
Can you give me a weather thing for today?
Yeah. So basically, there's nothing that I think every game is going to be like. It feels like almost every game has some rain. The Dodgers and Cubs probably more of a chance of a delay, but even that it doesn't seem that likely. So. It's and I don't think anybody's dying to use bats in that game, even with a decent hitting weather. It's Kershaw and Stroman, and it's just not an ideal situation to try and target that game, in my opinion. So it's really just a matter of whether you want to play Kershaw or not. And for me, the the way I play, so that means do I want to play some Kershaw and DeGrom lineups? And the answer is I do. It is concerning with DeGrom coming out of the last game with the mild injury.
So tilting.
But man, but that's really the only thing that weather-wise I thought was standing out. And then there's, I'll mention it during the games. There's not like, exceptional, like it's 43 degrees in Minnesota, which isn't ideal, but like it's Patrick Corbin, so we can still play the Twins. It's the wind's blowing out a little bit at Yankee Stadium. Nothing that's like over 11 miles an hour blowing out in Pittsburgh, between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, and 10 miles an hour blowing out in Baltimore. But let's go game by game, because I think what I'm doing is not what people are doing on this slate. So I'm totally cool with that.
Right. I'm going to probably have to update the projections a little bit, because there are guys starting that I didn't think were starting.
Yeah, the lineup is weird today.
Yeah, but right now, you look at Detroit, Baltimore. This is the SP2 du jour, I think, in Grayson Rodriguez for Baltimore. The park is not great. The weather is not great. I mean, for pitching is what I'm saying. The matchup is good. The ownership is not great. You know what I mean? Like, in that I have them like 25-30% owned. I can't imagine that actually being the case at the end of the day. There's just so many options here, I think. But nonetheless, that's what I'm getting. And not really quite getting to either of the any of the hitting here. Should I be playing Baltimore against the Erod off of that Erod game, or just kind of avoid it, or what do you like here? Anything?
I like both. I'm gonna have some Grayson Rodriguez. Don't get me wrong, but I like both offenses. I will, especially Baltimore's. So I am totally comfortable taking shots against Erod. I actually think that there is some argument for playing Erod, by the way. He actually had some, he had some really tough matchups to start the season, and this is a up and you can call it whichever way. I don't know. It's Baltimore is really tough, but I think it's still better than facing Toronto and Houston and all that. So I am okay with either side of it. If you want to play Erod or Rod, I actually think Grayson Rodriguez is going to be popular, obviously. But I am also going to attack these offenses, and they're cheap enough on the Detroit side, especially, that I can use a combo stacked with my DeGrom and Kershaw lineup. So that's sort of what I'm planning on doing. I'm actually going to attack this game pretty hard, and I don't think it's kind of surprising to me the total is as low as it is, and it's kind of surprising that no one's going to play this game to me. So I am going to be the one who does, and we'll see if it works out.
Yeah, so I have 4 main stacks that I'm kind of identifying here, and one of them is Toronto today against the Yankees. I'm not quite getting to Gausman on the pitching side, so for me, it's just going to be Toronto or 0.
Toronto or nothing. Okay, makes sense. I am okay with Toronto. I actually do like them a little bit. I'm kind of, again, surprised by the run total not being a little bit higher, and was trying to figure out if I may have done something wrong. And I have no issue with using Gausman against the Yankees, but I'm probably I have him a little bit behind Kershaw and DeGrom. That's just where I'm at. Moving on.
Houston, Atlanta, as usual with Max Fried games. Don't want to play him. I don't want to play against him.
Yeah.
Price is getting a little low, but that's just kind of it's just an observation.
Yeah.
I'm not getting Javier, and I'm going to take 10% of Atlanta. They're not going to be my big buy-in, but they actually rate okay today. Javier's tough, but I don't know. Take a shot.
Yeah.
Nothing in my big buy-in or anything like that, so I'm pretty much off of this game.
Yeah, this is a pretty cross-off-ish game for me. Both good pitchers, both good bullpens. Christian Javier, you can always play Atlanta, like we said, but I like Javier as a pitcher, and I actually think you can use Javier a little bit, but I'm not really finding myself with much of him because I'm sort of spending in different tiers, but I do think Javier is completely viable.
Okay, so Hunter Green in the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game, he's showing up as among a group of other options. Okay, and I think people are going to play him. I think he's going to probably be 15% owned, but I think it's reasonable, and I think it's reasonable to take a shot on him. Vincent Velasquez, I mean, I never play this dude. I usually kind of stack against him, but he's very similar to some other options, I think, and he's
Gonna be
like no percent owned. I see the rain. I see a little rain cloud there. I don't know what that's all about, but it's against Cincinnati. And one thing I noticed is that Cincinnati, they don't have, among other people, I don't think they have Tyler Stevenson today. I don't know who else they don't have, but I don't know. I might end up trying it, but probably not in my big buy-in though. And as far as there's not much here.
I don't like playing Cincinnati on the road, as you know. It's cold weather, and they point per dollar. Their per dollar pricing is pretty awesome, so maybe fillers, but I'm not doing it. And also, I'm kind of like Velasquez is a very weird pitcher. Like every now and then, he looks like the best thing in the world, but he does walk people and he gives up home runs. So if people want to go that route, I have no issue. I'm not doing it myself. I actually. I do like Hunter Green. I'm going to have some exposure to Hunter Green here. Pittsburgh has not been any slouch there. They're doing really well, by the way. They had the third worst odds to make the playoffs. They were somewhere around like 300 to 1. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, they're in first place, one of the best records in baseball, without arguably their best player or second best player. So, but the main thing for me is Hunter Green here, and no problem if anybody wants to take either side of stacking this game. I just am not doing it myself.
Dude, I'm the worst. So I got to update my projections. I mean, I don't even have a projection on Logan Allen. Isn't Logan Allen like a lock?
Wait, which one?
For Cleveland?
Oh. Huh.
This guy's supposed to be really good.
It's an interesting question. I don't really know why I haven't been more
projected. Who's not projecting him in the people I follow? I don't even know.
I don't know either. It's interesting.
Dude, I don't even understand it. I sent you the article on him because I thought we were going to need him in the whatever. No, Saberson has him with 13 fantasy points. I don't know why I don't have him, but dude, this is a lock. Let's go against Miami. I'm in. Get this.
Yeah,
he's got like 18. He's got like 1.5 strikeouts per innings in the minors. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
I don't know.
I don't really know why I didn't get to this, and I think I maybe needed to adjust my lineups.
I literally have I don't even have him projected. I guess one of the places I follow don't have him, so I just didn't put him in.
Let me just see where they've got. What is the pitch count he's gonna? I gotta double check this. This is one I could probably have done more research on.
Well, I even sent that article on it. They really want him to do this. It's like,
all right, so I'm going to put Logan Allen on my list here.
Right?
I need to revisit that one. By the way, Quentin Grimes was just ruled out, which means Josh Hart is starting.
Ooh, what does that mean, the average man?
It probably means Josh Hart is a reasonably good basketball. But I'm going to revisit the Allen thing because I can certainly see the case for it. And while we do have some great spend ups, it's not like this is not a high variance thing. I mean, the Cubs have a 3.5 run total with some wind blowing out there against Kershaw. I still like Kershaw. And DeGrom, while they have a 2.2 total in Oakland, we just always know it just feels like he can always come out of the game at any moment. So it's a little nerve wracking. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to try and figure out, rethink about this Allen.
But I literally haven't. You're seeing me live, like, because I saw Logan Allen on my screen here. I'm like, okay, so I presume he's going to project. But I look like, wait, why didn't I see him in my projection at all? I just literally don't even have him. So I'm going through again to see why I don't have him. I don't know the answer.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't know either.
I wouldn't have heard of him if we weren't in Survivor and I got that article.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sort of stumped on this one. Okay. So shoot.
Do you like Luzardo? Do you like Luzardo at all?
Luzardo for which team are you on?
For Miami now, same game.
Oh, I just didn't think about that. Like, I honestly didn't. I don't know why. I just sort of didn't think. Maybe it's because it keeps snowing and raining and all that stuff there. But I don't have really any. I didn't really have any interest in anything in this game.
I didn't either.
But maybe I should in Logan Allen. I think I'm going to revisit that one. That's pretty much where I'm at. That one sort of caught me off guard because I wasn't ready for. I think that actually is a very reasonable guy to take a shot on. But so is Velasquez and so is Rodriguez. So you don't there's just a lot of guys that it could be. And I'm just going to make sure that Allen is going to pitch enough. Already pitched last.
Their whole staff is injured. I'm sure he's going to pitch.
I just need to know when how many he pitched his last minor leagues. I don't think they're going to let him go nuts personally, but I still think it's definitely worth taking some shots there. But you also, like I said, you have Velasquez who just put up $1 million, and then you've got Grayson Rodriguez,
and you got Erod too.
Yeah, you've got some good cheap options here today, so certainly could go that route for spending down on people. Ready to jump over to the other one because I this game sort of broke my brain for some reason. I almost just didn't think it was on the slate or something.
No, it's very reasonable because every game has been rained out.
Yep. Yeah. I am going to take a little bit of a stance here on this other one. I personally, on this White Sox Tampa Bay, I have no problem. I'm going to have some where I'm not using them. I'm going to have some Tampa Bay hitters, but I am totally cool with gambling on Giolito. Again, he can get lit up. I'm totally fine playing guys with wide ranges of outcomes. He also, when he's on, is borderline unhittable. In fact, I think he didn't give up any hits in his last start. So yeah, he did pitch 6 shutout innings, no hits against the Phillies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he put up 30. I'll take a shot on Giolito, continuing the no hitter.
Okay, so first of all, before I forget, so I did just get a projection at least on Logan Allen, so I'm going to update.
Pretty good, actually.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So I just want to update that, even though it's only 40. When does it start? Is it 1:30? Oh, we have. Okay.
Plenty of time, yeah.
Let me just update that, and then okay.
Yeah, as Scott says, as Saberson has him predicted for just under 5 innings. That actually is probably good enough. The only problem is the other value around him just too much better because Hunter Green is cheap, Grayson Rodriguez is cheap, Vince Velasquez is cheap, and we don't need to spend crazy high on getting the stacks we want today.
Okay, so now he's showing up as a play at least. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Tampa. I said my Giolito thing. I'm these hitters are more one-off type things for me in this game. But I do like Giolito a little bit. Eflin, I think you can make a case, a righty against Chicago. I'm not going to do it. But Giolito I have as a guy who I'm forcing in a little bit of. And if I had to pick any bats in this game, Harold Ramirez, Brandon Lau, and then on the White Sox side, at some point, these guys are going to hit a little better. Gavin Sheets is 2,700. Eloy Jimenez is 3,400, 3,700 for Benintendi. All those guys are totally in play for me, but no stacks for me here. Are you going to stack against Giolito, Sheets?
I am not.
Okay.
I'm not going to stack against Giolito. Am I going to stack against Giolito? No, I got better. I think I have. They're my second. They do show up as a decent leverage spot here, but I don't think I'm going to. No. I mean, I might get to them some MMA, but not in like anything big or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to add one thing about that Grand Slam, even though I ended up finishing second, not first, because that thing. It was not a full stack thing, and it was, and I do think that there is some, like, it just shows you there's some merit. Like Nico Horner was like 9% owned, but outside of Cubs stacks, he was like 1% owned.
That's really interesting. I think about that a lot and how to kind of quantify that.
But you have a stolen base upside guy, which he ended up hitting a home run, so that got me there. But
it reminded me of like the San Diego thing from the other day, even though it didn't matter because when San Diego didn't do much, but. Like when Tatis was 2K, I mean, you'll see like San Diego stacks rate to be like, hugely popular, but the stacks without Tatis in it probably wouldn't have been.
Right. All right. So Milwaukee and Boston. Yes, I am fine with Corbin Burns here. I'm not going out of my way to prioritize him. He is one of the pitchers I'm using. And I like Milwaukee against Bello and a trash bullpen. So I have more mini stacks than full stacks of Milwaukee, but I do have some full stacks as well. Contreras not in the lineup today made me a little bit lower on them, but I still like them quite a bit here.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee a lot as well. They're one of my top stacks, given everything. And I also do like Corbin Burns, as once again he always seems to go when DeGrom goes. It's a nice little pivot. I think that at the end of the day, I'm probably not going to have DeGrom in my big buy-in. I think I'm going to end up paying up for pitching and doing some stupid like Corbin Burns, Logan Allen thing. I think something like that. But yeah, I definitely like Burns, and I definitely like Milwaukee.
Yeah. All right. Move on to Washington, Minnesota. There's some sprinkles in this game, but it looks like it's going to play fine. It's 43 degrees, which is obviously not ideal hitting weather. It's 9-degree winds blowing out to right center. I will absolutely have twin stacks today. It's just, it's worked every time. I don't know how we can't pick on the guy who's been the worst pitcher in baseball. He also gives up the most power and stolen bases. So, hey, you get to play your Michael Taylor if you want to, batting ninth, actually.
That's true.
They're going to be the chalkiest stack, but I do like them for what it's worth.
I am not convinced that they're going to be the chalkiest stack.
Maybe not.
I think that we're going to get to Texas. I think Texas is going to get pretty low.
Maybe.
But I think between the two of those, I think those are the two. I mean, Corbin, you just play guys against him all the time.
Yeah. And talking about Bailey Ober today, I personally am not going to play him, but
I saw that.
If you want to.
I have no problem if I get to him by accident. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to play him on purpose.
Yeah. By the way, Quickly is probably a good play in NBA now. Actually, I'm probably.
I just redid projections for the NBA to see if it made any bit of a difference.
Yeah, they can put Quickly out there for a lot of those lineups. That's true. Yeah, interesting. But doesn't make anybody a must play, is what I would say at all. Just Quickly and Hart are both much better plays than they were a few minutes ago. All right. So next game, what do we got? The Cubs, Dodgers.
Dude, I'm down.
Kershaw.
Well, I'm not that. I'm down. Oh, I was about to say I'm down with the Dodgers, but I can't do it in Stroman. Stroman's tough.
I just don't. Yeah, not only is he tough, he just keeps the ball on the ground.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's tough.
3 degrees.
Yeah, you like Kershaw today?
I do. I don't. I like Kershaw where I'm playing DeGrom also and going just for absolute ceiling. I do think Kershaw and people act like he doesn't have a ceiling, and I still don't really understand why. He's put up 27, 29, and 35 this year. He had the 117.
I don't know what people want. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, that sounds good to me. I mean, and you're facing the Cubs. Like, Sure, there's a couple bats that can always get to you, but like this is not a matchup that I'm worried about him especially. So I like Kershaw.
And once again, pretty natural pivot off of DeGrom.
Yep. Or you play together.
Or like you said, yeah, exactly. Or you just play them both.
Mm-hmm. And then we get into the DeGrom in Texas, and I thought I had Texas thinking that they were going to be the second biggest stack. Maybe they will be more popular. I think it's totally reasonable that they would be. It's kind of worth noting that while they keep going off in the first inning of these games, like it's not like every game they keep going nuts. I mean, Sears the other day just dominated them after that. I mean, he had 11 Ks in 6 innings for a guy who can't strike anybody out. So I'm not 100% that that's Texas is for sure. Having said that, I have them right now as my second favorite stack, but I think I'm actually going to have them as my fourth highest owned stack behind. Actually, my third highest behind Baltimore, Minnesota, and then I'll have Texas right in there with Toronto and Milwaukee. Those are my ones, and I do like DeGrom for what it's worth, but the ownership, I certainly understand the fade, especially with people worrying about him. However, if there was a guy who's going to put up 40 today, I think that he has the best chance to do so.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. By the way, they are starting Levert.
They're starting Levert. Okay, interesting. I'm very surprised that they're doing that. Actually,
Is that good for Levert?
I mean, it's going to make his projection good. He doesn't tend to get off to very strong starts with these guys. I think they probably pull him early and then bring him back with the bench unit with one of Garland or Mitchell. Josh Hart starting. Wow, I'm interested about that situation. I might have to revisit that in a minute. But yeah, that's what I've got for stacks. Baltimore, Minnesota, then Baltimore, then the Texas, Toronto, Milwaukee are in the similar bubble for me.
Yeah, I'm seeing a really big projection out of Texas and a really big bunch of ownership out of Texas.
Okay.
So I guess proceed with caution, I suppose. But I'm probably gonna. Well, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, and it's 12:45. But you know what? I'm off to a kind of a late start here.
I'll just say I actually think that I don't know if Texas will be quite as but I think there are ways like I'm stacking. I'm not using some Nate Lowe in some of my stacks. You can always play Duran, Tavares, or Bubba Thompson to get off the chalk. Just as the fifth member of your stack. And I don't see Josh Jung being particularly high owned today, so it's kind of surprising me.
They never learn.
They never learn. But yeah, I do like Texas.
What did they score? 18 runs yesterday?
How many did they end up with yesterday? I don't actually know what they did.
I think 18.
Oh my God. It was on a different slate than I played, I think. It wasn't.
Yeah, I think it was 18.
Jeez. Yeah, so that's pretty much my
you know I can't play him.
You can't you can't play him?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah. If they're going to be that popular. I understand if they score 18 runs.
Exactly.
But I mean, for what it's worth, I do think that, I've got them in third. I don't even have them in one of my big buy-ins right now. I have the Detroit Baltimore game stack, and I have the Minnesota combined with Toronto and 4-2-2 with Minnesota, Toronto, and Milwaukee. Those are my two main stacks right now. With Burns, Rodriguez, and then in one, and with DeGrom, Kershaw in the other. Then I'm using Hunter Green and Giolito and Gausman in my other buy-ins, my other smaller buy-ins. What else are we looking at? Oh, let's jump back over to the NBA. I'm just going to double check with the projections updated what we've got. If I want to maybe do something different here, because I do like these guys. I am looking for value. I don't necessarily love some of the value that I found. And I think maybe playing these Knicks guys quickly, Josh Hart, I think those are reasonable sources of value. So I might try and get one of them in here. Kind of tricky, actually. All right, quickly. I had Harrison Barnes, and I'm gonna play Hart instead of him, for example. Hart. Hart had 2 really good games in the series, by the way. I just love the way that guy plays, man.
He never seems to generate fantasy points, though.
I mean, he had 35 in the first 2 games in the series.
Did he?
Yeah. It's hard for him to get fantasy points on the Knicks because they play their guys so many minutes, and it's just he and Quickly. We see what Quickly can do when he gets the minutes. You know what I mean? Just doesn't get them very often. I don't think Quickly is that much worse of a play than Karis LeVert at all. So, for what it's worth.
That's an interesting pivot, huh?
Yeah. I think they're close. Can I get Quickly? No. Remember, I bet the Clay overs today, guys. I like the Clay today. I really do. I think Clay is going to have a big game today. Every over 3-pointers made, over points scored, all that stuff.
So I'm gonna hang around because I have to. Oh my god, I have 8 minutes in hockey. Oh,
do it. You got plenty of time.
I got plenty of time. That's a rough one. I'm gonna try it anyway. And also, I don't know if Brandon's here, but if Brandon is here, if you want to pipe, you know what? I don't want to say pipe in some takes, but I want to hang out and do a little bit of NASCAR. Yeah. I want to wait till NBA locks before I refocus. So I want to do hockey first. So I got to update the projections too.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I gotta finish my baseball builds and gotta go wake my kid up. So I am probably gonna get out of here. But I wish everybody luck today, and let's crush it. I'll be in the Discord if anybody wants to tag me for any questions or thoughts or anything. I didn't do any straight bets today, but you guys have all the information.
Yeah, but what do you like anything though, or
what was that? I didn't really come up with a bunch that here. Let me just do my NBA. Shoot, I don't think I did post my NBA bet things. Yeah, if I had to pick, I like Cleveland. I like Golden State to win. I don't know if about covering. That's a little trickier. And I do think that the series ends in Minnesota today, but I don't feel extremely strong about it.
And you like, I like Cleveland today as well. It seems like what's that? What's that? +2?
Yeah, +2.5. Which I actually really like. I mean, we see the 1 and 2 point games all the time. You know what I mean? So I have no problem betting that one. All right. With that said, guys, I'm gonna say good luck to everybody. Sheets, good luck, man. And I'm gonna leave this on, but I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah,
I'll turn it off when I'm done here.
Congrats again. What a great day. Hopefully we can duplicate something like it today.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck to us. Good luck, everybody.
So I'm just updating the hockey projections right now, and I'll let you guys know when those are updated. Unfortunately, only have 8 minutes, 6 minutes now. So I apologize for that, but I was doing this, so can't do everything. And I wish I could have an intern to do these for me, but it's not that easy. I know people have asked me, well, why don't you just have someone automate it and stuff so you can focus, but it's not exactly that easy to automate. I have my own little tweaks I have to make. So this is what the sheets would look like right now. So let me upload these to the site first, and then I'll rebuild. I have 5 minutes, plenty of time. So you'll actually see me do this, and this is definitely not optimal strategy as far as building lineups, but I'm doing it anyway. So literally every single click that I'm making on the other page that's a misclick is costing me like 2 minutes. Not 2 minutes, but okay. So sheets are now updated. So now let's do the Sabersim build first, okay? And then we'll do the MME build. We have 4 minutes, 5 minutes, all day. So we got to do this, and let's put the updated tweak projections. We'll ignore those. Updated tweak projections in, and we're going to rebuild, and let's see what I get here. And hopefully we'll get a good distribution of stack types, because that's usually the thing that slows this up. Because if I get like a lot of 3-2-2s, 2-2-2s, 2-3-4s, or whatever, then I have to do a lot of screwing around. So let's see, for example, a lot of Bostons, whatever it is. So stack types. See, this is going to run into a lot of issues because I don't want to play like 3-2s, so we got to X those out. Don't want to play a lot of 4-0s, so we want to X those out. We don't want to play 2-2s. We want to X out 3-3-2s we could play. You don't want to play any 3-3s. We'll X those out.
3-2-2s, not really. We can't really play those. 4-2 we could play on a short slate. 2-2-2 we can't play. This all looks good enough for me. I don't even want to play 4-2, so we'll get rid of those. 4-3, 5-2, 3-3, 3-3-2. Team stacks, we're getting mostly Boston, which is fine. So for MME, we're good. Put these in. We should have at least 2 minutes if 4 minutes. Oh my God, plenty of time. Might even have time to tweak the big buy-in. I think we will actually. And then Excel kind of freezes on me for just a minute, which is a little bit annoying. That's okay. I do like Boston today. Kind of flex their muscles a little bit. We got 2 minutes. I'll take a quick look at what my big bind is defaulting to and see if I need to make any changes. 3 minutes? I thought there was a time problem. Plenty of time. And the good news is I don't even have anybody from this first game, so I do have time. What do you think about that? Unless I really want someone for this game. So this is a full-on Boston assault. This does have Drury at the wing, so I want to double-check that and make sure that he's a well-projected dude. Let's see, Drury. Not bad. 3K win on the first line. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Kind of a neat little one-off there. Yeah, this is good. All right. So I'm good with hockey. So let me pull up my NASCAR sheets. Right. And then I'm going to do a lineup build with those. I'm good with everything else. Let me just make sure my horses have to deal with. It's only 1 o'clock. We have a big carryover today. So we're good with all the 1 o'clock stuff is good. We're done. All right. Keeneland, I already have my Keeneland bet in for the first race, Gulfstream, not 14 minutes. So this is what I am showing for NASCAR. And this is going to be updated, by the way. NASCAR sheets are going to be updated. So what I have is Corey LaJoie. Now, the reason why all these cheapos are projecting all this well is because it is a plate race. So you could leave like a lot of money on the table on a slate like this. And when you and by the way, you see that I put the grid places in finally. So you could use a lot. Now, what I love are guys like this, like JJ Yaley. I mean, he is, probably awful, but these are the types of guys that a lot of people ignore because people play guys from the back, but they don't play the crappy guys from the back. What do you got here? You have there's a take here, a soccer take, the EuroLeague Championship of Real Madrid. Real Madrid is a good for. Okay, all right, that's something. See, I like doing stuff like this, like the low-owned guys that really like BJ McLeod, JJ Yaley, Ty Dillon, Harrison Burton. So when I run optimals, I'll end up like forcing in like Yaley's and McLeod and Dillon and Burton's, like for example. Burton really is not projecting all that great, but actually none of you guys are projecting all that great. But something like a JJ Yaley would be pretty interesting at only 4% ownership, if that's actually what he ends up getting. So let's do that. Let's have some fun. Let's pull up SaberSim. We'll build a NASCAR set, which we've done before, but we're going to build a new one with these projections. Not MLB, sorry. And we're going to do this again later because it doesn't go off for a couple of hours, but just to show you. So we do this right now, and we're not going to force in, a salary or anything like that, but we're just going to let it fall where they may. I'm not going to intentionally leave money on the table. I'm not going to set any rules or anything like that.
I'm going to let the projections kind of just and the the Saberson ownership fade thing just kind of take over here, and this all looks reasonable enough. I'm getting a lot of these guys in the 10 and 12, which I usually don't like to get to, but that's okay. I think to spread out your whatever. But what I want to make sure I do is add in and see how much exposure I get of those guys I mentioned. So that would be Yaley and McLeod, and maybe Dylan and Burton. So let's see what I got with these guys in the first place. So Yaley, I have 0 of him. Okay, so we're going to get 20% of Yaley. Okay. Oh, we'll keep editing. We're going to get 20% of McLeod. of McLeod, and we're off to the races. I think this would be a fun thing to do. But then we're going to do this again because if the projections change, and if projections change, and then the builds change. Then so we'll start with these. And then we'll just I think these are going to be pretty low owned, man, I have to say. This is play racing, man. Anything is possible. Anything is possible in play racing. And I'm not going to build my big buy-in here. I'll do that a little bit later. And that'll be a fun way to end the afternoon. I'm going to pop back in here if there are any questions about anything at all. Then I'm going to get out of here. Got my AAU team in Pittsburgh playing in the finals, so you have to watch that at like 1:30, I think. Okay, any questions here? Oh yeah, no problem.